I'll unmute everybody.
He can see with his glasses. Yes, they can. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, just as long as you don't see from my waist down.
Thank God and greyhounds.
Can you hear me? Well, come in there, girl.
Michael, I'm having trouble. I can only see me, and the center of my screen's white. It's got everybody's name on it. Thank God and greyhounds.
Can you hear me? Well, come in there, girl.
I'm having trouble. I can only see me, and the center of my screen's white. It's got everybody's name on it. Thank God and greyhounds. I can see me and you, and I can see a picture of blank of Sheila, and they got Brenda's name.
I look better
you
this
need
way.
I can see me and you, and I can see a picture of blank of Sheila, and they got Brenda's name.
I look better this way.
See me and you, and I can see a picture of blank of Sheila, and they got Brenda's name.
We've had it.
Mr. Murray, up there in the right-hand corner, you should be able to change your view. Mr. Murray, up there in the right-hand corner, you should be able to change your view.
I don't see Joe. Is she on there?
Can you all see me?
I can see half of you.
Half of me?
And I can see the top of Michael's head.
That's all I can see of Michael too.
That's all he wants you to see.
I can't see Richard or Sheila.
I can't see Richard either.
I can see your name, but it's got a,
Yeah.
it's all over in one
As long
corner.
as I can hear y'all, I don't care. I see you.
Mr. Kazook's video's not on.
I've got the school calendar picture in Anchor and Learning. It's
Yeah.
showing most of my screen.
There we go.
There you go, Mr. Kazook. It will go off when it's time for the meeting to start, Mr. Murray.
Oh, that'll go off. I see Richard.
Yep. Miss Joy is putting the app on her iPad to see how that will work.
I can see just a little bit of Brenda.
Well, I need for you to see the
I
whole.
can see you there.
Do you know it?
Huh?
I need for you to see the whole picture.
I know what you need. Scoot your camera to the left.
Yep.
I don't want to. I'm afraid I'll see too much.
Oh, there you're dead center. Well, you're not now, but you were.
Well, I'm seeing you.
Well, that's what counts.
That's exactly right.
Just a moment.
Carol popped back in her chair.
It's Joy. I'm joining now. So
Brenda, why don't you look at this picture? I don't know if I can get where you see it or not. That was when Mary Bessie Malone was at Union Chapel.
Charles.
Hey, you don't you know you're a lot younger than me.
And that was in 64, I believe.
I was in high school.
Brenda.
That's a rare picture. It come from the old Union Chapel School.
Yep.
How's Richard today?
Doing very well.
I got me a basketball go if I need it or not. While I was outside.
Hi, Gerald.
Hi, Carol.
Hey, Brenda
Hey, dear.
and Richard.
Hi, Carol.
We're getting close to having Grandma Joy on here. I can see her name now.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. We just can't see you.
I've lost Sheila and Richard.
I see Richard and I see
I
Brenda
see Mary now.
and see Carol. I don't see,
I see Brenda and I've lost my
Yeah.
Carol's took his place. That's a good move.
Hi, Brenda.
I'll tell you what it might be, Gerald, is there's only so many that can go to the top on your screen.
Right.
So it may be,
Well, it's showing that big picture of Russell County Board of Education and May
yes.
18th, 220.
Yeah, that's what mine's doing. And then across the top, I can see 5 of us.
Yeah, well, mine's all over to one side, to the right-hand
Oh,
side.
okay.
But I think he said that in the center would disappear when the meeting started.
Mine is,
Will,
how am I supposed to get the picture on?
turn your audio on.
How do I do that?
Let me look here. Let's see.
Okay.
down in the corner, it'll have,
Hi, Brenda. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How about you?
Tony Baum is joining now from the architect. He's going to give a project update. Hey, Michael, on your iPhone, how do you turn on the audio?
Up at the top.
Joy, did you hear that? You might get a little notification now, Miss Joy. I've actually start your audio.
Okay.
And
Oh,
there she is.
I see
see
Jerry.
you.
There.
I can't see Sheila.
No, I haven't seen Sheila either.
You can change your
Hey,
gallery.
Brenda,
I'm not there.
Right.
She's in
Brenda, are you
disguise.
sure? Are you sure? of the food pantry?
I'm fixing to get pigtails if this don't get over.
You and me both.
Are you, Brenda, are you still working food pantry?
Yeah.
Well, now, as you know, I can cut hair. I just got one style.
Uh-oh.
Well, I pass on that.
I'll pass too.
Well, I may take myself up on that after a while.
Think I'm gonna start wearing a ponytail.
I've been wearing braids. Looked like Pocahontas when she gained a lot of weight.
Now, don't be rude to yourself, Miss Sheila.
Gotta tell the truth at times, you know.
I don't see Sheila. Do
I
you
don't
see Sheila?
either. And I don't see Joey.
There I am.
And I don't see you. And I don't see Michael.
We don't see you, Gerald.
Slide it
Hi,
over.
Joey.
Hey,
I'm
how are
telling
you,
you.
Gerald? Michael.
But
I still haven't see Sheila. Hey, Jonathan.
Yeah, Jonathan sneaked in.
Jonathan, are you gonna talk a long time?
You know he is.
It does. I'll put mine on pause and y'all think I'm there.
We ain't got Miss Adams to thank, so we don't have to worry about that.
Hey, Richard.
How you doing, Joey?
I'm doing good. I got my yarn mowed today.
You don't cut hair, do you?
Well, I have been cutting some hair. If you want me to cut your hair, I will.
You gonna put it under the lawnmower?
We planted 2 rows of beans and then it come a flood.
Oh,
They
no.
got watered.
Richard, I couldn't guarantee it would look the best,
Well,
but I will cut it if you want to.
I'll be glad we can get back to our regular meetings. I don't care much. I mean, I don't know, I guess it's all right, but I don't like it.
Me neither.
Me neither.
Tonight's nice though, where you don't have to get out in this storms.
Well, you got a good point there. Of course, I've done been out in it, so it didn't really matter.
Well,
Sheila, I still don't see you.
She
Who?
disappeared.
I
Who
really
did?
am there.
Who disappeared?
Sheila.
Oh, okay. I have not seen Sheila yet,
Can't see Sheila either.
or Michael, or Carol.
Carol's
I
there.
think Sheila's invisible.
She must be.
So watch out behind you.
You've got him hold.
Carol, you need to close your shades back there.
Who does?
Okay.
Carol, the
Oh,
little
okay.
lights.
I didn't have no shade.
There.
It's only 5 o'clock. It's too early to close the shade.
Joy, who put your picture on there? It's Grandma Joy.
I don't know.
It's on there that way.
I don't know.
Uh-huh. It says on the bottom, Grandma Joy.
That's who I am.
I know. Mine's got just a question mark undercover.
On mine, it says Gerald Murray.
Oh, it does?
Mm-hmm.
Let me rub that out. Ain't that simple?
Hey,
Maybe if
Richard,
you know how.
Richard,
Yes.
I wanted to send you a video of 2 little boys fishing, and but it was on. They've got it on YouTube, so I've been meaning to send you the link.
Okay.
But they're in South Carolina at Kent and Karen's condo, and been there 2 weeks and fishing every day and catching things.
For
And he
goodness.
caught a bullhead shark or something. Anyway, it fought him, and he's 7 years old, and he got it reeled in right
Well,
to last. His dad helped him.
Well, that's great.
It was really a good video.
I'll remember that.
Joe, cook a big dinner. You gonna cook some big dinner? It prices some and frozen peach.
What time is it?
It was the best taste over there. It's $4.49.
Thank you. Oh, gosh, we still got time.
What we gonna do, dance?
Probably. Now, do I look intelligent now?
I mean, you would not believe how much.
Since you all got glasses on, I probably didn't put my too. You and Richard, anyway.
I've got to have my glasses on or I can't see.
Well, I can see up close. I can see better without them. How's Kay doing?
Doing
Richard.
good. She went and had shots again on Thursday this week. Last week. Thursday last week. Shots.
Where'd she go to, Henry or to Louisville?
She goes to Henry's office, but it's the retina
Somebody-
specialist out of
Yeah.
Lexington to come down there.
What's
But
his,
they
what,
just sit in the car until we called, and then they came out and got her and took her in, and nobody sits in the waiting room, and you have to wear a mask in.
that's good.
So
Emery Kate got her braces off today and she had to go in by herself with a mask on.
they won't let anybody extra come in at all.
Well, that's good.
It is. It is.
Jeff was on his phone in the morning at 10:30. Jeff, the overnight it is.
Brenda, where are you, at home?
No, I'm in the
Brenda.
basement. What?
Oh,
You
What?
muted? Have you got me
What?
muted? Have you got me muted?
oh, me? No.
It said he had it all, us all muted, but
I'm listening to you, Sheila.
I'm listening to you also.
Mr. Bourne had muted everybody a few minutes ago. So
So we need to be quiet.
We probably don't need to say nothing ugly.
no, we're live on YouTube. Tony, Jonathan, just be good.
Okay.
I'll try, sir.
Tony and Jonathan just like, oh, not saying anything.
I'm just listening, trying to learn something.
Oh, no, we got Jonathan in there now. How are you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. How are you?
I am super, super good.
We're
You
good.
lost your razor.
What's that?
You lost your razor, didn't you?
Yeah, and it's turning gray too.
When you look like mine, you can shave it off.
Oh, okay.
Jonathan, I heard that you're a very good cook. Is that right?
Well, I guess it all depends on who you ask and how hungry you are.
I'd say that is true.
I'm pretty hungry right now.
Shelly's upstairs cooking supper, so
Are the boys disappointed about graduation?
yeah, they were a little bummed about it, but you know, just is what it is.
Yeah. Wish we could change it, but we can't.
Did y'all see their pictures on the?
I haven't been out today.
Looks nice on the bank, and you all will have your everybody will have like a little over an hour each day for the graduation. I'll get that out later tonight.
Okay.
I got your.
That mean 3 dresses?
It's a 6-hour day, and there's 5 of you.
You mean but we do it every day or just one time?
Well, no, we thought we would just split up, come each day for you all rotate out for like a little over an hour. You know, hour and what would that be? 12 minutes or something? Yeah, that'd be 72 minutes. 72 minutes each of you each day.
3 days of makeup, Brenda.
What, honey?
3 days of makeup.
Yeah, 3 days dresses.
We don't have to wear dresses, though, do we?
I hope not.
You don't have to wear anything, Joey, if you don't want to.
Right.
Well, I will interject now. We do. Tony, I told you this was going to get good.
It's been very interesting so far.
Oh, me.
Keep it up, and I'll hit this mute all button again.
You'll miss us when we're gone.
I know where.
Hey, we evaluate him.
Pretty soon.
Yeah.
Race cars or something, isn't it?
Nice.
Gerald, you been working?
No, she's courting.
I said Gerald.
Oh, I said Joey.
Now I know what Joey's been doing.
Well, Gerald's courting too.
Oh, you all are so sweet.
I know it. Remember, me and Sheila's too old to court. We don't care if we court or
Yep.
not.
I remember way back there, oh, don't you, Brenda?
Yeah, it seems like a vague memory, but I remember.
So how's Orville doing?
He's right here beside me,
Oh, you see.
doing
Well,
great.
Tell him I said hi.
I will. She said
Hey.
hi. He said, hey.
Four minutes.
At county.
Somebody's knocking.
Don't let them in.
Your hair's got a lot lighter, Joe. Sheila.
I'm under the light.
Yeah,
But
in your dreams.
They
It's looking more and more like the color of this old woman's.
it sort of looked like a skunk, you know, with a silver stripe down the middle.
I know it. I was thinking this. I was afraid of that.
I don't know how that happened, but our grandchildren are beginning to get gray hair. And they're not very old.
You can wash it off.
Can y'all
Lisa,
hear me now?
Lisa just turned 47. No, 46 Sunday. So that didn't seem possible.
Oh, it doesn't.
Are you 50, Jonathan?
No,
I knew you was, and I just said that. What are you, 46 or 7?
I will be 47.
Did you graduate? Jennifer?
Well,
It
I'll
don't
be,
seem possible, does it?
I know, and I got 2 graduating high school.
Boy, I tell you, that's really making you sound old.
Yeah, I know.
Did you graduate with Lisa?
You feel old when it gets to college, Bill.
I think he's a year older than Lisa.
Yeah, I graduated Jennifer.
Okay.
Yeah, I got 2 to go to college. I'll have to work till I'm 100.
Well, that's no chance to pick up because they've done somebody else take Jerry's job.
So
I don't know who that man is.
We had 2 in college and 2 in law school at the same time. It's rough.
mhm.
Well, Bonnie, you have to do away with being a vegetarian because meat's too high to buy now.
I know.
Yeah, I'm on Roman noodles.
Michael, I don't think y'all can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yeah,
Yes.
now we can.
Can you?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you couldn't a while ago because I was answering, and I pushed some buttons on it. Apparently I got it back. Okay.
Quit pushing buttons.
Well, I couldn't hear, y'all couldn't hear me. I kept saying, I asked Richard, I said, Richard, can you hear me? And I asked Joey, and I asked Brenda. And y'all just ignoring me. I see how it is.
Well, we was trying.
Didn't hear you,
Oh,
Gerald.
no,
Didn't
I'm
ignore you.
seeing myself.
Did
I
not-
looked
I
over,
didn't hear-
it had me muted. So I unmuted it. And I guess that, I don't know how, it said something. I need to push ATL to continue or something. And
Yeah, he muted.
mine ain't got no ATL on, it's ALT.
Brenda,
I
move
finally,
over.
I can see it
I
one
have
time.
5 o'clock time for the meeting to start.
Except Carol, don't see her. Hello, Jonathan.
How are you?
Fine.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order.
Okay, I'm going to read, Ms. Wicker, the same statement that we essentially had last time, just so it's recorded in the minutes. The reason that we having a meeting such as this. At this time, and given the extraordinary circumstances public agencies are confronting, it is not feasible under KRS 61.840 to precisely identify a primary physical location for a video teleconference at which the public may attend and view a public meeting conducted through video conference under the Open Meetings Act. Instead, because of the public health necessity of imposing social distancing to help stop the spread of COVID-19, a public agency should precisely identify a website television station, or other technological means by which the public may view a meeting conducted under this act until the conclusion of the state of emergency. Of course, we have provided the YouTube app or the YouTube link, and also ask folks that are participating, they can either ask it on YouTube or call in during public comments at the Board of Education's number at 270-343-3191 with any questions.
Okay, roll call.
This action is taken by calling each board member's name with the board member answering present. Mr. Murray,
Present.
Ms. Wilson,
Present.
Ms. Hickenbotham,
Present.
Mr. Kazook,
Present.
Ms. Wicker.
Present.
All board members are present.
Okay, the adoption of the agenda.
Okay, a couple of things have been added to the agenda since we published it out last week. If I direct your attention to number 15 and 16, the memorandum of understanding for the Family Resource Youth Service Centers Corps. That's something that they have done for many years, and that memorandum of agreement is enclosed again. Also, the amendment to the staffing allocation for elementary schools. That's just, I'll explain it on that item. It's to give the elementary school principals a little bit more flexibility with their discretionary staff. That's that one position that is split between the 3 elementary schools. That's the only thing, Ms. Wicker, that's been added to the agenda since the agenda went out, and I don't have anything to take off.
All right. I think I rolled mine up too far.
I make a motion, we approve the agenda.
All right, Brenda, thanks.
I'll second it. That's Joey beat me there.
Vote.
No, that's fine.
Okay. Miss Brenda, who seconded that? I'm sorry.
Mr. Murray.
Okay. Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Hickenbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Kazook,
Yes.
and Ms. Wicker.
Yes. Okay, do treasurer's monthly report?
Let's allow Mr. Smith and Mr. Pham, they're going to provide an update for the Lake Cumberland Regional College and Workforce Center.
Okay.
That's number 5.
And I think one or both of you all, I think, are going to share your screen.
I think Jonathan's going to do that.
Yes, I've got pictures I'll show after I do. Has everybody got a copy of the progress update report that I sent?
Yes.
Yes.
I will just briefly go through it first, and then I'll show you the pictures and tell you show you some of the items that's been completed. Of course, earthwork wise, there's not been a lot of earthwork. A lot of it's already been done. They've just been digging some footers for us. They actually have been hauling some of the spoils over to the new track location for the board. Right now we have about 42,000 square feet of slabs poured. Probably by next week, we'll have all the interior slabs complete. We're about 75% on all the interior concrete for the building. The greenhouse footers they're in, they are complete. Masonry blocks about 85% complete. Brick 60%. This weather this week is going to probably slow them down a little bit on brickwork, but they're moving right along on it. The ground facing block is 15%. Exterior installation, that's the yellow foam you see being sprayed on the wall. That's about 75% complete. Structural steel, the first floor framing is complete except for the bracing and bridging that goes in. The roof joists are about 25% complete. We have a pre-roofing meeting with the roofer on Thursday. Roof is scheduled to start 6:15 pending weather and the structural steel completion. Hollow metal doors, the door frames, about 75% of those are complete. The storefront, all the lower level windows, they've been measured and those frames are being built ready for installation. The greenhouse is scheduled to arrive in the next couple of weeks, and they will start putting up the greenhouse on 6/1. It will be ready for the fall school semester. HVAC and plumbing, ductwork on the upper levels about 50% complete. Lower levels 10%. Plumbing rough ends on the upper level are about 75%. Rough ends on lower level are 85%. Roof drains are about 40% complete. Fire protection, all the underground is complete. They will start piping around June 18th for all the interior overhead. Electrical, all the underground is about 85% complete. They're just getting started on overhead rough end with steel being completed. And we will, once we have the pre-roofing meeting, we will schedule a date to get the main switchgear set in the building. Obviously, the building need to be dried in before that's done. So we'll set that date when we have the meeting Thursday. I'm going to share some photos with you all. Okay, can everybody see those?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going to go over what these are. That's the construction technology slab. Part of it was poured. They were finishing up, getting it ready for the remaining part of it. That's what you're seeing there from that photo. That is one of the corridors looking back from the existing building. That is slab is complete. You can see the window frames in and most of the block work done. That's the east view of the interior. You see the joist and decking on part of it already completed. Decking's already down. You can see the block work going up. That's looking back towards, that's the Lakeland Insurance Building over there. So that's looking back towards the east. That's the footers for the greenhouse. That's complete. You see the sidewalk down the middle. And like I said, it's ready for the greenhouse to come in and be set on the foundation. That will be the 1st of June. That is the industrial maintenance area. That's where we're getting ready to pour the slab in there. You can see the wire mesh, plastic and everything down ready for the slab pour.
Jonathan,
Are y'all seeing?
it may just be delayed on my screen. The pictures aren't looping on.
Now, we're to see the first picture.
There's a
That's it.
picture.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Are they
Not
moved?
updated. It's not updated since the construction technology lab picture.
I thought maybe I was missing something.
Me too.
I thought maybe I just didn't know what I was looking at. Mine isn't changing.
Is it moving now?
No.
No,
I wonder if your screen is frozen.
Mine's moving. It says that my screen's being shared.
Let me I'm gonna now take it back, Jonathan.
Is it moved?
It's not.
No.
no.
Stop sharing it and then go back to it.
Can you see the corridor?
There it moved.
There we go.
Yeah, I moved.
Okay. All right. There's the corridor as I was talking about. Let's see if it changes.
I'm just seeing you, everybody. No pictures. I mean, other than,
Did it change?
No, it's not the corridor.
I'm not seeing any of the pictures you're showing. Is anyone else?
I just see the core.
Having said that, though, Jonathan, I sent the board members, well, probably what I send you all, 20, 30 pictures.
Yeah, at least.
And some of this
Yeah.
is the same scenes that, I say that because if it doesn't continue, if we can't get your pictures working, they've just recently seen a bunch of pictures. Because I took, was that last week, Mr. Kazook, you all, when I
Yes.
sent?
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah, and I went out there on site and I took a bunch of pictures. I don't know why it's not working.
Like me, it's raining.
There you go. There's the greenhouse foundation.
Okay. Did it change?
No,
No.
For some reason, it's only let me do one at a time. I don't know why.
We drove around that the other night. It looks gorgeous.
It looked good from the road. I ain't been no closer than that, but it looked good from there.
Can you all see that one?
Yes.
That's the picture we took from the corner of the softball field, looking back towards the building. You see the retaining wall in the back.
Yeah.
And you can see the brickwork as it was continuing around the building.
I don't see any of the pictures.
what's on your screen, Mr. Richard?
There's another one, if y'all can see that.
I see that.
That's the brick going up, looking at the back towards the south of the building.
I see several bricklayers.
Yep. Yeah, they've had several there.
There's a lot of people on that site working.
Yes, they are.
Carmichael has done well with their numbers because they've always got a big crew.
Yes.
That looked about like it did the other day when I went by. It looked like people were busy everywhere.
There's the interior of the student collaboration area that has rail around it is where the staircase will be. At the interior of that student collaboration area. Overall progress is going well. We've had decent weather the last few weeks. This week's not panning out to be too awful well, but we'll just roll with the punches. Everything seems to be coming together pretty good. Hopefully we can have a pretty good summer of weather, get the roof on this thing this summer, and this fall get it closed in and get it wrapped up.
That's great.
I must say the progress overall for that project is going very well. It's one of the highest quality projects I've seen in probably about 5 or 6 years, to be quite honest with you guys. The brickwork is very well done. They're doing a great job with the progress of the building so far, considering what they're having to deal with at the circumstances that we see right now. But I've got to commend Larry and Jonathan in their bunch for the work they've done thus far. It's really good quality, and your building is going to be absolutely beautiful.
It's gonna look good.
We're just seeing it.
We have been working, you probably saw them today, Tony, Miss Roy and Kevin and I, on some of that artwork that's going to go up.
Yes, the vinyl wall graphics that are going to be in place around the student collaboration area, it's going to be a unique feature for the school building.
It's going to be very nice. I'll send that to you all, full board members. I'll send that to you now to look at your leisure.
And the project completion is a little bit over 50%, if I'm not mistaken, Jonathan. Is that correct?
Yes, we're about 54% complete right now.
It looks better. It looks more than that.
Mr. Smith, Mr. Fawn, do you all have anything else for us?
I do not.
That's it for me, unless anybody has any questions.
It is. It's going great, and we've got that roofing meeting this Thursday, and that will be a good milestone to get under our belt, and it's work's going on.
Looks great.
It does.
So I know you all are welcome to stay on, and you stay on. So we're going to go on, I guess, aren't we, Miss Wicker?
Pardon?
I said we'll go on whether or not Tony or Jonathan wants to stay on or not.
All right. I just saw our lightning detected close by, so we'll see how long we stay on.
I know. That's all.
I guess we need approval of the consent agenda items.
We have the meeting minutes, payment of bills, construction funds, school activity fund reports, financial report, and treasurer's monthly report. And I'll get that ready for you.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Tony, Jonathan.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jonathan.
You're getting everything together pretty good, aren't you?
Like the chimes.
Thank you.
Was that you?
My grandfather.
Let me go over the treasurer's report, Ms. Wicker.
Yes.
Okay. Of course, this is month of April 2020. Balance on hand at the beginning of the month was $10,647,046 and a penny. Total of all receipts for the month, $1,721,156.73. Total of all receipts and beginning balance, $12,368,202.74, with disbursements of $2,174,597.03. Balance at the close of the month, the cash in bank, $10,193,605.71. Fund balances: General Fund, Fund 1, $5,527,121.86. Special Projects Fund 2, $85,561.69. District Activity Fund 21, $1,588.54. Capital Outlay Fund 310, $138,330. FSBK Building Fund 320, $167,950.43. Construction Fund 360, $3,852,634 and a penny. Debt Service Fund 400, $0. Food Service Fund 51, $416,366.48. Fiduciary Fund, Fund 7,000, $4,052.70. Total cash in bank of all funds, $10,193,605.71.
All right. Any questions? Okay, we need a motion.
I make a motion to approve the agenda. No, the consent agenda.
I second it.
Okay, vote.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Kazook,
Yes.
and Ms. Wicker.
Yes. Next is the amended 2019-2020 school calendar.
Yeah, this is one of those things that's kind of retroactive. It deals with everything that Senate Bill 177 do, and with all the additional NTI. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, in-person classes for Russell County ceased on March 13, 2020. Senate Bill 177 allowed the use of additional NTI days, really gave school districts unlimited days, and school districts only had to achieve the 1,062 hours of instruction and were not bound by the required 170 days. So as long as the school district got in the 1,062 hours, they were good to go. The thing that made all school districts be able to achieve that within a reasonable amount of time was that the state allowed every NTI day to count as 7 hours of instruction versus what hours typically a school day for us counts as 6.5 hours. So an amended school calendar with these changes is attached for board approval. The last student day of instruction was May 12th. Of course, employees, teachers, classified staff, all of us, we still must fulfill contract days. And so I recommend the amended school year 2019-2020 schedule be approved as presented, and that you'll note that as Ms. Dameron worked on that, the closing day for teachers, that records day is what used to be referred to, was May 13th. But as originally scheduled, teachers still have to finish up their 185-day contract. So they've been doing a lot of different activities, PD and otherwise. And as we started out from the beginning, we told all staff that, you know, we'll make sure everybody gets their time in and can get that regular paycheck. And all the central office administrator and principals and everybody's been really flexible with staff and different things. Our co-op has been good. Miss Bethany has sent out a lot of training material, so everybody's had plenty of ample opportunity to get their time in. So I recommend the amended school year 2019-2020 schedule calendar be approved as presented.
Okay. Motion?
I'll make a motion. We approve the schedule as presented.
I'll second it.
Vote?
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Higginbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Kazook,
Yes.
and Ms. Wicker.
Yes. Okay, next is the FY20 auditor contract.
So in accordance with the Kentucky Department of Education guidelines, all school districts must have an independent audit of financial practices. Therefore, an audit firm must be selected to provide such service. It's still within that window for us to continue with White and Company. They'll be, once you all approve it, they will be doing the current school year that ends June 30th. That school year, the fiscal year 20 audit of financial practices. So I recommend that we continue with White and Company to conduct the fiscal year 20 audit of financial practices.
I make a motion we approve FY20 audit report contract.
I'll second it.
Vote?
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Kazook,
Yes.
and Ms. Wicker.
Yes. Okay, next is 2020-2021 tentative budget.
The KRS 160.470 requires local boards of education to adopt a tentative budget. The fiscal year 21 tentative budget has been attached for your review. The working budget will be presented in September. So Fund 1 expenditure is $20,933,466. And of course, revenues, and it's required to match $20,933,466. Here's some things to I think it's important to point out with this budget. The seat-based funding per pupil was set at $4,000, and which is the same as the 1920 school year that we're currently finishing up. So next year, we know that the legislature, they set that out initially. They started out, it was going to be a SEEK increase, and understandably so. With the pandemic, that set in before the session ended, and they took that back to $4,000. Just be honest, in simple terms, I get that. I understand why they did that. So based upon this funding rate, KDE issued us a SEEK forecast for Russell County Schools for 2021, and it's really roughly equal to the final SEEK funding for this current school year that we're in right now. So there's some, thankfully, there's not a cut for that. So that's a blessing. Unfortunately, we all know that cost increases and that there's not money coming with that, but still it could have been worse. And I think we all need to be very, I know you all are, but to be very cognizant of that. So this tentative budget is based upon the SEEK funding for the 2020-21 school year, remaining close to $12,400,000 for the SEEK funding. A good thing for the next year, the 2021, something that we've talked about a whole lot over this past several years, is the CERS, the contribution rate for classified staff, that was frozen at the 1920 rate for the 2020-21. Okay, so that was frozen. It was originally going to be at 26.95, but it's going to stay at that 24.06 rate. Now, that doesn't seem like a whole big difference from 24.06 to 26.95. But for us, based upon our classified contribution, that would have been right at $100,000 for Russell County Schools that we would have had to come up with for this next coming up school year. So, you know, on one hand, I can be thankful and appreciate that it was frozen and we don't have to come up with that $100,000. Again, to use the adage, you know, kicking the can down the road, at some point,
We're gonna have to do it.
we will have to have that rate will probably increase more than what they previously thought that it would. So, but you know, we'll take it while we get it. I guess we can look at it for that. Again, at some point they'll probably be catching up with that, but for this year, that's $100,000 savings. Okay, this is also something that's very significant. We already submitted the information to the state. Due to the COVID-19 crisis, districts have been given the option to base their 2020-21 SEEK funding on the 2018-19 school year or the 2019-20 school year. So taking that into account, Mrs. Dameron looked at our attendance numbers and we talked about that a lot. Now, if we would have had a really, really big increase in student attendance or student enrollment, we may have wanted to use 2019-20, this current school year, to forecast next year's SEEK data. That wasn't the case for us. Our attendance was down just a little bit this year based upon the 2018-2019 school year. So we have elected to use last year's attendance data, the 2018-2019, for the state to calculate our SEEK funding on, not the 19-20 school year. And that will be the case for most all school districts. They will want to use the previous school year's attendance. Even though we missed, what was it, 3 days on flu, there was a lot of sickness really throughout the school year, and the attendance was just not as high this year as it was during the 2018-2019 school year. A question we get asked a lot is, how does attendance calculate in during the NTI days? It goes off what your average was the previous year. So we had 39 days of total NTI days. That would have been calculated in as your average for the previous school year. But anyway, it still comes out better for us to use the 18-19 data. We know the attendance numbers for one. That's solid numbers for that year, and it allows us to have a better forecast for that. With the 19-20 year ending, we had 36 NTI. We should receive greater funding by using the 18-19 numbers. And the attendance is set for an average from the previous school year. So we know that most school districts that I've talked to will be using their 18-19 attendance. Only way that wouldn't have been good for us is if we had a large increase in student enrollment for this year. We've just been holding steady, which is good also. As of right now, this budget is you know, it's a solid budget based upon what we know. And what we have for our potential revenues for the school year. However, we will have a much more firm that up between now and September on when we have that working budget. It's called working because then come September, we work off that budget until July 2021. That seems like a long way, but it's really not. At this time, you know, the governor has already asked all state agencies to provide. They cut their budget already for this coming up. Fortunately, school districts were not included in that. It is highly likely that we will not be spared that next cut. All the conversations and meetings that we've had, and Ms. Carnes and I've talked about this a lot, we fully expect a mid-year SEEK cut. And so we can, you know, based on right now, we can predict that we might get that $12,400,000. And that sounds like a whole lot of money, but you look at operational and payroll for 500 employees roughly and everything that comes along with that, and you base your budget on that. And then all of a sudden, if we were to get that mid-year SEEK cut, that comes into the part that we have to have reserve to cover that up. So we've got a little bit of reserve. Again, we're not sitting on a big cushion. And I've said, you know, I'm not so much concerned about the 2020-2021 school year as I am the year
Next year.
after that. The legislature, as you all know, only passed the budget for 1 year. That'll go back to session. It's a short session, but they'll be passing the other year budget at that time. So there's a lot of unknowns right now. As it is right now, if this was a normal school year, and we had this budget, I would feel good sitting here with you all and say, we're not rich, but we can pay our bills. And that is as it is right now. It's unforeseen that it's going to be problematic for us. So
You don't ever know when.
it's always good to have an extra dollar because times like this we may have to use that extra dollar. So, but again, it's a solid budget for what we know right now. But we can, again, I fully expect that we will have a mid-year.
Well, it's the class that I took this week online. That was basically what the Department of Education person said, that it's sort of all up in the air and we don't know what's going to happen budget wise. So nobody really knows this point.
So we've started doing some things and thinking ahead. There's a vacancy right now that I'm not going to fill at a school. If it comes up and school starts in August and that school's numbers are back high, or they have an increased enrollment and we're in school, then obviously, they'll do that teacher. But it's highly likely, I think some parents, if a child is not yet 6 and it's not mandatory that they start kindergarten, I could foresee students not starting if they get out a year. And anytime you have a decrease in enrollment, you have a decrease in money. That just goes hand in hand. So we're kind of being, looking ahead and trying to do some things now that might save us $1 down the road. If we come to it and things happen and we're back to the normal pace, that's great, and we can act on that at that time. So, it is what it is, and we'll have firm up more numbers as things progress. So right now, again, we've got the fiscal year 21 tentative budget in the amount of equal expenditures and revenue of $20,933,466. Another thing, we will not be hasty in buying a bus or two this year. I think we ought to set and wait and see how things are going to look. Although we could use it, we can probably still get by with what we've got until we see how things are. So all those little things like that, we'll probably just wait.
I agree.
Because they add up in a hurry. So we need a motion and a second.
Well, another thing that we have to take into account is that fact that we don't know if it's half of the school population going to be going to school at one time, or it's all up in the air right now. So
once I'm glad you brought that up. Once high school, of course, is working extremely hard with graduation, and we've got that for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I'm going to have a meeting next week with admin and principals, and I've asked our local health department inspector that's dealing with a lot of this question and answer with us. He's going to participate in that meeting with us as well. He got back with me today, and we're going to start just thinking on those different scenarios and what that's going to look like, and if this looks like, and just to start that conversation and thinking about on the instructional side. I know Ms. Barrett can attest to this as well. They've been having meetings KDE has on just guiding the instruction on, we've got this part, we've not been in school since March 13th in person, and what will kids gap? And KDE has done an excellent job on guiding those discussions. They've had 3 of them now, I think, and we'll have another one of just getting the instructional part started back up in all those different scenarios. So there's a lot of support out there. It's just hard to plan for a lot of different scenarios that we don't know right now.
okay, we need a motion on the
I make a motion to
budget.
FY21 tentative in the amount of the expenditure and the revenues being $20,933,466.
I'll second it.
Okay, vote.
Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Kazook,
Yes.
and Ms. Wicker.
Yes. Okay, the next item is emergency leave due to coronavirus 19 public health emergency.
I'll read this and then we can simplify it real easily. It's language directly from an attorney working with our co-op. But under Senate Bill, new emergency leave authorized under Senate Bill 177 that just passed this legislative session to authorize the superintendent during the 1920 school year that ends June 30th to grant paid emergency leave to any full-time or part-time employee upon the superintendent making a determination that emergency leave is necessary for that employee due to an emergency or extraordinary situation in relation to the COVID-19 public health emergency. The board waives any requirement for an employee requesting paid emergency leave to file a personal affidavit in support of the leave, but the superintendent may require written documentation from the employee verifying the need for the leave. Senate Bill 177 is attached for your review. And I know that's a mouthful.
Yeah.
In essence, one of the first things when we started all this, I can remember going around to the cooks and talking to different entities, telling them, and I know you all shared this, that not to worry, it may look different for you, but we will make certain that paychecks are going to continue and everybody will have an opportunity by June 30th to complete their contract. And that was a goal of all of ours and the supervisors and principals and administration, as I know it was for each of you all with the school board. What this bill does, and it became law with the governor's signature, let's say, for an example, an employee had a spouse that had COVID-19. That spouse may need care, and that employee has had exposure to that, and maybe they're going to be off work now for
2 weeks.
15, 20 days. In absence of them having to take up a bunch of their sick days, all those things, if it's directly related to this health emergency, upon your all's approval, I can give them emergency leave where that time is paid leave for them, and it would count for their contract. And I think, you know, in this circumstances, that's being pretty fair to what an individual may have to go through. So by policy right now, individuals have 3 emergency days a year, and of course they don't carry over. They're done if you don't use them, and 10 sick days, which they do accumulate. But this would give me the authorization, if somebody could not fulfill their contract by June 30th and it dealt with COVID-19, it has to be related to that it would give me an opportunity to work with that individual so they would still get a full paycheck in essence. I've not encountered this situation or anything actually related to it yet. We've been blessed with that, but that's not to say between now and then something may come up. But for me to have this opportunity, I need your all's authorization to do that.
I make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay.
That vote?
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham,
Yes.
Kazook,
Yes.
and Ms. Wicker.
Yes.
That's I appreciate that, because that's a you know, if somebody was in that situation, I know we would all like to work with that employee and their family.
Next is the Cumberland Family Medical Center Incorporated School-Based Satellite Clinic Agreement. Healthy Kids Clinic.
All agree that this has been a blessing for Russell County Schools to have the Healthy Kids Clinic in all of our schools. They continued seeing students up until the end of our last instructional day, which was the 12th. They split their time between Jamestown and Russell Springs, and students could still go in there and see them. And also, even though all of this was going on, Cumberland Family Medical continued to pay our nurses reimbursement. If you remember, started after Christmas, at the start of the full year, they reimbursed our 5 school-based nurses, not Miss Patty that oversees the nurses and floats, but the ones that are with 100% of their salary. To be honest, I didn't know how that was going to look for this 2020-21 school year based upon all the financial implications. But we had our meeting with Cumberland Family Medical last week and talked about the new contract to present to you all. And as you note in the contract, again, for the 2020-21 school year, they will be reimbursing 100% of the of our school-based nurses. So each school, we have 5 of those nurses, and they will continue to reimburse the district 100% of that cost. So, you know, it's a win-win for the amount of service that this offers to our students and our families and to our school personnel as well. And also on actually it's next week. No, it's tomorrow. I'm sorry. We have a meeting with Cumberland Family Medical and Dr. Lloyd and his team. They're going to talk about some of the things that just when we do restart school and those health mitigation issues and how they can assist. And we all work together on dealing with COVID-19 and with them as a medical entity working in our schools. So we have that scheduled tomorrow at 11 o'clock. All the school districts that Cumberland Family Medical works with. So I'm looking forward to that and what they can bring to the table with this. I do want to note that there is the clause that in here that we can stop this agreement and they can stop the agreement. And it's not funny, it's reality now, but the word pandemic is used now in this contract. And, you know, when we was having that meeting with Miss Gibby Hopper, you know, she said, you know, we didn't used to ever think of those terms like that to include in the contract, but I understand why that is that is now used. So, you know, it just goes really, really well. There's always a little bit of, you know, bumps in the road, but they're few and far between. And in addition to the medical services, their behavioral health services and the counseling that they provide is phenomenal. So I can certainly recommend that we continue this with no hesitations. You know, even if they weren't paying for all the nurses, it's still a great benefit to our families. But they are nurses, so it helps.
Definitely been a blessing.
It has a good team of and very, very responsive when we have questions or answers, and a good crew to work with. Good to work with.
Okay, motion.
I'll make a motion to that effect. I'll second.
Vote.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Kazook,
Yes.
and Ms. Wicker.
Yes. Workers' compensation for school year 2020, 2021.
Okay, number 12 there in vivo, Mr. Wicker.
Skip one.
Let's skip one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Enviro?
In vivo.
In vivo, health agreement, employee, student, and DOD drug testing program.
So Premier Integrity has been Solutions has been providing the district's drug testing services for students and employees and DOT for our transportation folks with buses for several years. They have been bought out by Envivo, and this agreement takes the place of the agreement that we have with Premier. So there's 3 different ones. There's a specific one with students that outlines that agreement. There's the one for the employees that outlines that agreement. And then there's the one with the Department of Transportation, or what we refer to as the DOT, because they're also folks with CDL license are also in a separate pool, a drug testing pool for that, and that's by federal motor carrier law. Just some information for you all. It's for this current school year, we have spent $7,056 on drug testing. Of course, we obviously, for employees and students, that got stopped in March, but that's not bad. That's not a lot of money for what we get out of that. And again, I like the fact that our employees participate in random drug testing too. That we do that on new hires, and we do that throughout the school year, because it's good to have that conversation with students and say, hey, you know, employees are drug tested as well. They just worked really, really well. The folks that we've worked with, many of them are still with the company. Also, the prices remain the same. The same prices that we have with Premier for the employee, student, and DOT remain the same for Envivo. So really, this just takes that agreement with Premier, and we have that now with Envivo to provide that drug testing services.
Okay, we need a motion.
I'll make a motion. We approve the agreements with Envivo Health as presented.
I'll second it.
Ms. Joy, second.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Higginbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Zook,
Yes.
and Ms. Wicker.
Yes. Now we're on the workers' compensation for school year 2020, 2021.
So we had some significant workers' comp claims during this school year. And as you've seen on the premium comparison chart, Church Mutual is a company that we were with last year, been with them a few years now. It was going to go from 71,560 up to 94,219. We did receive our dividend reimbursement check for roughly $12,000 from Church Mutual based upon 18-19 school year, because we had a really good school year, and you get a dividend reimbursement. So Church Mutual for this coming up school year would be 94,219. Liberty would be 86,969. Kimi that we've had before would be $83,960.68. Church Mutual, one thing that we all really like is they have the nurse hotline. So if I'm hurt, the first thing we do, unless it's a life and death type of situation that we know it's emergency treatment is needed. If I'm hurt, the first thing we do to report that claim is you call a nurse hotline, and they kind of triage you and tell you what you need to do next. And sometimes they say, yeah, go on to the doctor, or sometimes they say, elevate your foot and use Advil, and we'll check back in. I say that because it's a great way to report claims. And Kimi doesn't have that. But to look at what 94,219 versus $83,960, as good as that nurse hotline reporting mechanism is, that's still, roughly $11,000 difference. And we've been with Kimi before. So for this year, I am recommending that we switch, go back to Kimi.
In the world?
I'm sending speaking of workers' comp, we may need to send an ambulance for Miss Joy.
My battery is about to go down. I was having to plug the charger in.
So for that amount of dollars, when Miss Carrie Brown and Miss Carnes and I spoke about it and met, it was just hard for us to think about not justifying, as much as we love Church Mutual, and that reporting mechanism is absolutely phenomenal. That's still a pretty big hunk of money for that. So at this point, and in light of everything else, I recommend that we switch to Kimi. And again, they're great to work with too. It's not that they were not, at that time, we just had some good price quote coming in for Church Mutual when we switched before. So,
is this just a 1-year thing?
It is on the renewals like this. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It'll be so if we switch to Kimi, it will be for the 2020-21 school year for the workers.
Yeah. So if it comes down, we can go back.
That's correct. Yeah.
Oh.
Which what's significant is the mod rate. So we were 0.65, which is great, and for that to go up to 0.89, which a lot of school districts would still love to have a 0.89 mod rate. That's what's put it up so much, because we did have a big claim or two.
Okay, we need a motion.
I'll make the motion that we go with the recommendation Mr. Ford just presented to the board.
All right.
I'll second.
Who got it?
Okay.
Brenda.
Brenda? Okay. Take the vote, Ms. Wicker.
Vote,
Okay.
please.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Kazook,
Yes.
and Ms. Wicker.
Yes. All right, now we're coming to Bethany.
Yes, at this time, I'm gonna turn it over to Miss Bethany.
Okay, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
And see you.
Okay.
Bethany, just for clarification, they received both of them. They received the one with the comments made reflecting the changes, and then what would be the final one if they approve it for the next school year. So they had both of those for review.
And I have to say it was a lot of reading.
You know you like it.
I didn't read it all, but
Well, with the changes that were proposed in the amended 704 KAR 3370, the professional standards for educational leaders, and that's got an acronym called PSEL, PSEL, will be used to evaluate principals and assistant principals in the 2021 school year. The amendments at a minimum require all districts to update their district certified evaluation plan to reflect these new standards and the performance criteria for evaluating principals and assistant principals. Due to the substantive nature of these changes, each district will need to work with the 50/50 committee to revise the SEP or the certified evaluation plan and recommend the changes to their local board of education. Upon receiving your all's approval, we will send this to the Kentucky Department of Education for final approval. I met with the 50/50 committee on May 12th, and we went over all of the changes. And the State Department they've had new professional standards for educational leaders, and each principal has a copy of these. And then I've also put them up in a Google Classroom, and there are modules that they're going through right now to learn more about each one of these standards. So on documents that were attached to your of course, is a certified evaluation plan. And the only thing that was changed were the yellow highlighted parts. And 98% of those changes were because of the new standards. And there were only a few other things that changed wording wise. Dr. Brooke Bartrug took the place of Amber Stevens on our 50/50 committee. So her name was changed a couple of places. There was a new graphic on page 7 that came from the Kentucky Department of Education, and that reflects the new standards. And it shows where the sources of evidence will fall for the rating in each one of the measures, and that's page 7. Page, just the title of the standards was changed. Page 9, that's where it took the most time, was to match up where the standards meet the source of evidence. For example, when an assistant principal or a principal is being evaluated, the sources of evidence have to tie back to the standards. So page 9 took the longest amount of time to ensure that those matched up. Page 16, we replaced the new standards for the principals and the assistant principals. Page 20 to 23, we added language due to unforeseen circumstances on our timelines for evaluations and observations and the conferences that the principals have with the teachers. We experienced that this year where if we had an observation, you have to have a conference with that within 5 days, and they changed that where it could be done virtually. So we just added that due to unforeseen circumstances in there. Hopefully catch any of that. Pages 59 and 61 are the actual evaluation document pages that are used for principals and assistant principals. And the only thing that was changed there was the language of the new standards on their evaluation page. So like I said, 98% of it was just putting the language in that's centered around the new standards for principals and assistant principals. Does anybody have any questions?
Miss Baird had a good meeting with had some good discussion. I sat in on the 50/50 meeting just recently. folks shared some views and talked about some stuff. So she's done a really good job with it.
And after that was over.
I don't envy your job.
Sorry, go ahead.
I said, I don't envy your job.
Right now with MTI, 39 total MTI days, or 3 regular days. We have 36 of the emergency days, and I've been trying to get all of the documentation ready to send to the State Department tomorrow for that. But this certified evaluation plan, it wasn't a big change, but you know, we're just all the hoops you have to jump through to make sure everything's done right. And they all did email me back, so in writing that they all agreed to the changes. So we're good there. And then with your all's approval tonight, it will be sent to the Kentucky Department of Education for their approval by June 15th.
Sounds like a
Things
lot
had
of
to
work to
change
me.
so much for the evaluations that it was, you know, particularly for new teachers, and that was really, I'm glad you put that part in case it happens again.
Yeah.
I guess we need a motion.
Yeah.
I definitely make a motion to approve the certified
Okay, I'll make the
evaluation
motion.
plan.
Ms. Joy made the motion.
It's,
I'll second it.
yes, she made the
I can
motion.
just take it.
Okay, vote.
The internet is
Thank you
the
all.
internet, I guess, because of the storms, it even came up unstable. Thank you, Ms. Bethany. Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
I can't hear it. Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Kazook,
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
We're on delay.
What they done.
I'm gonna stop my.
Wait.
I vote for it also.
Thank you all.
I believe he's froze.
If you all can hear me, it's the internet, and probably because of the storms. We'll just need to speak and then have a pause and let somebody finish up and catch up.
I heard you. My computer posted, said it would be having difficulties.
Yeah. Can we go on to the 15, Ms. Wicker?
Yes, please.
Okay. Item 15, memorandum of understanding, the Family Resource Youth Service. The Youth Service Program, the Family Resource Youth Service Center Corps Youth Service Program Memorandum of Understanding has been attached for your review. And really that first page that came with it, it really highlights what we do with this job, with this opportunity. Ms. Sherry Coffey at this point, the Russell County Youth Service Center would recruit high school students. They have to be 17 or older, and they'll have the opportunity to gain career experiences. They'll serve their community. while they're still in school working, and it just builds upon that giving back type of thing. And they'll be enrolled in the AmeriCorps with the task of supporting our district or local food relief efforts or the Family Resource Center, all those things like that. So we've participated in this in the past, and you can see on the agreement the list of okays and the list of not okay. So it's spelled out really well of what the students can and cannot do. So I recommend approval of the memorandum of understanding with the Family Resource Youth Service Center Corps that's been approved by the board attorney.
Okay, motion.
I make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, vote.
Mr. Murray.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham.
Yes.
Mr. Kazoo.
Yes.
And Ms. Wicker.
Yes.
Oh,
All right, amendment to staffing allocation for elementary schools.
Okay, on each of that you all have attached to this amendment or to this action item, on each of the staffing allocations for the elementary school, it lists a discretionary certified RP music. Russell Springs gets that person 4/10, Salem Elementary School 2/10, and Jamestown the other 4/10. After I've had discussion with the elementary school principals, a request has been made to remove the RPE or music that limited the principal from the discretionary certified allocation, so that the school council and principal at each elementary can best decide how to use that position. The 3 original allocation worksheets are attached. So again, on those worksheets, out beside that discretionary certified position, it said art, PE, or music. So the principal would have been obligated to use that position in any one of those 3 categories. Every school has different, let me clarify first, every school has a PE teacher. So every school has that. And then the schools use their other staff how they best feel suits their needs. And if we keep it the way it is, they have to use this person that rotates among the schools only between art, PE, and music. And every school kind of has different needs. So when I had met with the elementary principals recently, one of them had talked about the flexibility to use that position to do science experiments and science labs. And it was talked about the need to help students learn to type, because our open response and all those types of things are on demand. Students will have to type those responses. And then one of them said, they still like that art, music type of enrichment activity. But what this would provide, it doesn't give them any more or any less people. It just provides them with a little bit more flexibility for their individual school, which I think we could all appreciate. Each school can best decide how to use their people this way. And that's all it does. I recommend that the discretionary certified RPU on the elementary allocation worksheet only be listed as discretionary certified. So if Russell Springs has 4/10 of a discretionary certified person, Ms. Renee and the council can decide on how best to use that person. Same thing at Salem for 2/10 and Jamestown for 4/10. Keep in mind, this is one person that floats between those 3 schools. Does that make sense?
that's fine. Yeah.
So just to clear it up for the public, it will have nothing to do with PE. The kids will still have their PE.
Yes, the current position as it is right now didn't involve PE anyway. Every school has a teacher solely devoted to physical education of the 3 elementary schools. That's absolutely correct.
Okay.
Mr. Ford,
Yes.
Mr. Ford, what if that person is not qualified? you know, to do
a
what
P5
each school wants them.
a P5 certified person could teach anything that's in elementary school. So a P5 teacher can
Okay.
teach music, or they could teach math to third grade, you know, because it's that P5 certification. But we would, that would have to be the understanding. If it were to be a teacher that has a odd certification, obviously we couldn't put them in a complete P5. And I'm glad you brought that out, actually, Miss Joy, because if it's an odd situation, but most all of our teachers at our elementary schools are P5, and so they can, in essence, they can teach anything.
Okay.
So a P5, they could teach physical education, for example, or it may be someone that holds a certification specific to P5. Of course, they can't teach special ed or something like that, but they could do everything that we've described, science experiments and stuff like that. That's a great point to make.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion to
We
that
need a
effect.
motion.
Joey?
Second,
I'll second it.
Just did.
I'll second it.
vote.
Mr. Murray,
Vote.
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Hickenbottom,
When it gets my turn, yes.
okay. Mr. Kazoo,
Yes.
Yes.
I know it's the weather, the storms there. It's causing a little bit.
Okay, next is public comment. Do we have any questions?
We ask anybody in attendance to please call the board at 270-343-3191, or if they're watching on YouTube, they'd be welcome to put it in the chat. Or if that number were to happen to be busy, there's 343-3192, there's 343-3193, there's 343-6018. We can.
Do you think we'll have Kevin Williams?
No, Kevin and I have texted and emailed some. What he's looking at doing now is to provide a virtual presentation of the check, and that might be something very similar to what we're doing right now. Invite people in, the media and board members in the Family Resource Centers on a Zoom meeting, broadcast it live on YouTube, something like that. That he wants to, do much, but it's not been finalized yet. A week or two ago, he'd asked for the enrollment numbers for each school, and I'd sent that to him so he could divide the check out accordingly. Obviously, due to everything that happened, the donations were not as big this year, but we continue to be very thankful and appreciative of certainly Kevin and all of his work, but all the people that donate, right? Because it takes everybody donating to make his work happen. And he's still as passionate about it today as he was the first day that he worked on it. So that's what he's looking at for this year, Miss Brenda.
Does he have a final
Okay.
amount?
Ms. Wicker, he gave me the final amount, but I'm not going to divulge that. You'll just have to wait and see. He told me what it was at that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Ms. Wicker, no one has called in yet. We can certainly continue if somebody were to call in. It's kind of like a telethon, Miss Carol. The phone lines are open.
They're open.
But if it's okay, I'll go on to personnel reports, Ms. Wicker.
All right, personnel reports. Personnel reports then.
Okay. Personnel reports, Sarah Aaron, hired Russell County Middle School math position. Jared Gosser, hired Russell County Middle School science position. Miss Vicki Kane was hired for the district-wide special education consultant position. Tina West, she was a bus driver, but she has accepted a position as an instructional assistant, vacant spot we had at Jamestown Elementary School. Miss Becky Godby, she's retiring as a Jamestown Elementary School library media specialist, and we wish her all the best. Lisa Coffey's retiring, Russell County Middle School special education teacher, effective June 30th. We wish her all the best. Miss Jane Brumley, retiring, Family Resource Center Director at Jamestown in 6th grade, effective July 1, and we wish Miss Jane all the best. Kimberly Miller resigned, Russell County Middle School science teacher, effective May 26th. Garrett Crawford resigning, 6th grade girls basketball coach, effective April 23rd. Leah Turner, she's resigning as full-time teacher at Salem Elementary School. She will remain as a substitute teacher. And Michael Keene, non-renewal, end of year, June 30th, 2020. And Sarah Barnes, end of year, June 30th, 2020, non-renewal.
Okay.
Just no one still hasn't called. Just some FYI types of things. Again, I'll get with you all for the graduation schedule. If there's any conflict at all when you get that, just let me know and we'll work around that. I know Miss Brenda had a request for a certain time frame to be there because of somebody that she wanted to make certain she saw, and we can easily accommodate that. If any of the rest of you have anybody that you want to make sure that you're there at that particular time spot, if you know what time spot that is, just let me know and we can schedule you that particular time with it. So again, you're looking at like an hour, 10, 15 minutes each day, and that way it's not too hard on anybody. I plan on being there each day, all 3 days with the high school administration, of course, and kudos to them. It's been a hard undertaking to get all that scheduled and make that work, but it's going to be as nice as possible for the students. Also, again, we'll be working and meeting with the health department, Cumberland Family Medical, and other folks on what perhaps the start of the school year looks like. So, we're finishing up the 1920 school year and certainly planning on, as it takes a long time for the 2020-21 school year. Folks ask me, when's school going to start? And I tell them as of right now, our start date remains August 18th. And we'll see if that changes and what that looks like as the summer progresses. And we may start with students on the 18th, but who knows? It may be just half of our students, and then on the 19th, the other half come. We really don't know. There's a lot of contingencies that we have to have in place to make that work. Also, we just want to share with you all a grant opportunity that we have that I've done a letter of interest in. Not committed the board to anything. You all would have to accept it. But that same entity that I went down to Georgia with, the American Association of School Superintendents, they came here, did some video work with us, and with Dr. Snyder. Only us and Jefferson County Schools have been invited to participate for Kentucky, a grant proposal with them to expand our student apprenticeship work. So what does that possibly look like? That looks like dollars. That looks like money.
Right.
For students too. So a lot of our students, they may be willing to work and participate in the apprenticeship program, but they don't have means of transportation. So this would provide funds to where we could transport them and get reimbursement and a lot of other things as far as that. So it's a grant with the Department of Labor and the American Association of School Administrators. I'm really, really pleased that they asked us in Jefferson County, only 2 districts in Kentucky. So I was really proud of that, to partner with them. I feel really good about that work. Kentucky ranks up high, especially right here in Russell County, for the work with the youth apprenticeship program. So we'll know, as soon as I know, you all will know whether or not, and there's more to that grant than just that, but it's going to expand our capability to offer that grant that opportunity to more businesses and to our students. So that's really, really exciting, and I think that speaks well for our Lake Cumberland Area Technology Center and our school district as a whole to be invited.
Kudos to you.
I was going to say, it speaks well of you.
Well, it's not me, it's everybody else that makes it work well. So
But you started it.
I really appreciate this group and that networking opportunity, AASA, that they've given us, because you all know, just going to conferences and school board meetings, that networking sometimes can open up doors. And that's what this kind of done. And so we're really, really pleased, and I appreciate KDE, of course, is involved with us. And so I think it'll be a great opportunity. I just wanted to share that with you all. And again, I'll keep you up to date if we were to be fortunate and blessed enough to get that grant.
Hey, you must have made a good impression on them when you went to Savannah.
It wasn't. It was good work at the ATC and other folks.
He definitely can talk.
Well, McKinley, I had a good speech therapist there, just like you.
That's right.
No turning back now. Sorry, Sheila. So that's all I have, Miss Wicker. We'll just continue to work and close up this school year. It's just different times, and again, I cannot commend our faculty, staff, and administration, and our students, and our parents, and our guardians. Everybody has just really worked hard to make this happen. It's just people have been patient, and it requires that, and you know, it just takes everybody coming together. And our students, have you seen a lot of the things that they have done in our community of highlighting our seniors, and people are just going above and beyond. And I you know, I never want to take our community for granted, because they're so good at that, and we're certainly blessed, and that's not everywhere. But you can just look around and see the signs and the things that they've done and donated and make it work. And we've got it good right here in good old Russell County. We just do.
I was just going to say that the signs and all that the teachers have, and the parents and the students have gone through, it's just a different time right now, and they've done well. And I know how hard it had to be. It certainly has improved the teachers' appearance and everybody's and all the parents' opinions. And they do work hard, and they deserve every bit of thank you that they get. And so I appreciate all of you.
I'll give a shout out to Mr. Chris Godby too. He's been doing Google Classroom training for all of our teachers, because you all know we part of that money is supposed to be spent on remote learning, and we're looking at purchasing Chromebooks for our students. And so all the students can have one. The teachers can set up their classrooms on the digital platform. If we were to have a situation such as we did this year, students have those Chromebooks. We know not everybody's going to have internet capability. We know that, and we'll still work with families that don't. But many students will have the opportunity to have internet at home and have a Chromebook. So maybe they had internet at home, but they didn't have a personal device. Or it's hard if you got 3 kids at home and 1 laptop, right? To do all that. This will be a good investment for our students and our families with that. And again, heard great things about Mr. Chris Godby and his training that's been going on for our teachers on Google Classroom. So
that's wonderful.
That's all I have.
All right, Brenda. Say goodbye.
I'll make a motion with make a motion with adjourn.
All right.
I'll second it.
Everybody in favor?
All in favor? And Miss Wicker,
Hey.
okay, I will wear my mask.
Got it.
At your house tomorrow for 6.
I can't hear.
No, it's getting messed up again. I said, if it's okay, I'll wear my mask and gloves and come to your house sometime tomorrow for signatures on stuff we have to get.
We'll be here.
Okay. Good to see you all.
Good to see you too.
See you, everybody.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Everybody stay safe.